Hello, my name's Glenn. I'm co-founder of the Flow agency in the UK. Welcome back if you watched the episode 1 of this mini-series, which is reviewing the way we built totnesdelivers.co.uk. In the last episode, the first episode, we covered looking at the primary business category, how we actually get data from a form submitted on a Webflow site over into Airtable, and we make all the data synchronize up so that we're not having to maintain multiple lists of the same data, but actually the Airtable data becomes the single source of truth. So in this episode, we're going to extend on that and move on from effectively using single ref fields in Webflow to making use of multi-ref fields in Webflow. And we use a couple of different techniques here to the business category example that we did in the last video, so I just want to go over that. And I'll also say up front that there are a number of ways I think that we could do this. This was just the one we settled on for this project, and it's quite a fast project. I'd like to look into perhaps better ways of doing this as well in the future, but for now I want to go over the solution that we've put in place with you. So what we're looking to achieve here is being able to record the data from the form when a business submits a new business for the listing on the website, and they choose multiple options. And you can see from the end of the last episode, just carrying on from that, you can see that when a particular checkbox is selected, we are going to be setting the data behind the scenes in a hidden field. This will become important in the next step when we look to match their selection of a checkbox against entries in Airtable. We're going to go into how we build these checkboxes, how we actually set these hidden field values, and then what happens when this form is submitted and the data goes to Airtable. So we'll dive into that next. So over in Webflow then, I'll try that again. So over in Webflow then, we have a collection list, and this collection list is effectively bringing all of the records in the ways to receive orders collection. So if we have a quick look at that, ways to receive orders, you'll see that there are 3: pick up in store, home delivery by post, home delivery by a driver. And just as we've done with the category example, you'll see that over in Airtable we have a ways to receive orders table, and these are the values that we've synchronized over using a task in Integromat, so that Webflow has the exact same entries, and then Webflow passes back its Webflow item IDs to the Airtable records. So just to recap, that's this column here, so that we can actually tie up each record in Airtable with its counterpart in Webflow. So on the page itself, in the form, the collection list is just a standard collection list which brings back the ways to receive orders. No filters, no sort ordering, anything like that. But what we are doing is, rather than just putting text or anything like that into the collection items, we're immediately just putting an HTML embed, and this is a little bit of custom code which is allowing us to actually set some values and do some clever things with those checkboxes. So if I open the code editor, this isn't as complex as it looks for people that aren't used to using HTML, and as per the episode 1 of this series, do let me know if you need any help with this or just want a copy of this code. It is it's fairly standard kind of JavaScript code in Webflow projects, when you just need to do that little bit more than the standard functionality that's built in. So just to talk you through this quickly, this is effectively putting a standard Webflow label and input checkbox on the page. But what it is doing is it's giving it effectively a unique ID, a unique name, a unique data name, because of the fact that the slug will always be unique. So that's the first thing. It's actually creating unique checkboxes by using a dynamic value that we've actually inserted from the add field feature there in Webflow. That's really important for the JavaScript in a second. And then obviously on the display, we just want to see the actual text of that, so the way to receive order name, or quite often in collections that's just called name, but we like to change the name field to be something a little bit more descriptive. Underneath that then we have a hidden field, a hidden input field, so it's all part of the form, and we've just put a slight change to the naming on this one. So we've just put hidden hyphen and then again used the slug for the ID. So again, all of these hidden fields will also be unique. We've set the initial value of that hidden field to nothing because we haven't set anything yet. The checkboxes aren't checked by default, so we just set the value to 0. Now the clever bit, I suppose, is the script here, which actually is listening for the checkbox that you see on the display and whether it is ticked. So as soon as somebody engages with that and it checks to see if it's checked, then it will grab the equivalent hidden field for that particular checkbox and set the value to the text that you see on the screen, so wait to receive order name. Just to show you again what happens, if you look at the value here in that hidden field and I click on pick up in store, you'll see that it sets the value to pick up in store. What we're finding is this is an easier way of handling data than setting a true and false against multiple checkboxes, but again, lots of different ways of doing this. This is just one that we were playing with on this project. So once it's set that value when it's checked, that form is ready to submit and we're ready to process that data. If they uncheck the checkbox, then it would set the value back to nothing, and we'll show you how we handle that nothing state in a minute. So again, just a very simple what's called an event listener in JavaScript there. It just adds that little bit of low code, just adds a huge amount more functionality, I think, and ease to some of the other parts of the flow as we move forward with the next step and the handling of the form submission. Okay, so I think the best way to demonstrate this is to submit a dummy entry on the form itself. And what I've got here is I've got the listener running in the background. This is the Integromat scenario, which is waiting for a new form entry to come through from the website. So I have filled in some data. I've decided to put in just the flow details. I'm a bakery for the time being, and I've selected pick up in store and home delivery by a driver, and this is the field that we're obviously looking at the moment. So as I proceed to add my business, you'll see that Integromat has immediately picked up on that form data. It has started processing that through to Airtable successfully, but what I want to do is actually look into the module here for a second and just show you what's going on with those checkboxes. So once I load this up, you'll see that it's successfully brought through all of the data in the nice dark blue color, and it's also successfully brought through the checkboxes here, ways to receive orders. So rather than mapping the fields here, what we've done is we've gone for a sort of a manual entry, and this is the bit that I think we could improve. So we've created 3 items, and in each of those items we've got a little formula here, just a little function, just to say that if this particular entry is empty, then I just want you to set the value in the Airtable record to null. Otherwise, just pass that value through. So the hidden home delivery by post is the value that's coming through from the hidden field in that data that's sent through via the form. So just because it's hidden doesn't mean that data isn't available to us. Obviously is, and we can actually then just put that into here. So this, if this list were to change regularly, these kind of checkboxes change regularly, you'd end up having to update this list regularly as well, and that's we're trying to get away from that, obviously. So it's only a one-off in this case, just to test this idea to see how viable it is. What we are also doing though is we're making sure that on this same module, which was already true from before for a different situation, we've got the smart links ticked down here, and what that means is that the actual value that gets passed here in this case would be, you know, the text itself, pick up in store, for example. We want to make sure that Integromat can match that against the relevant data in Airtable. So over in Airtable then you'll see that this test record has been created, And over to the right, if we scroll over, you can see that Integromat and Airtable have done exactly that. They've said, I have found two related records over in the ways to receive orders table, and I have assigned those to this record here. Because of the way this business's table is set up, what it is then doing is in this special field here, which we haven't talked about yet, we have a roll-up field, and this was based on work done by Ben at MakerPad, so very thankful to him for this idea, and I think others have done the same, where in this particular special field you want to create an array or a unique array of values of the Webflow item ID values that are associated with each of these ways to receive orders records. So what all that's doing is it's actually just creating a comma separated list. And again, just to said the same in episode 1, no need to actually do double quotes and single quotes here for when we move forward to the next step. It is as straightforward as actually just using that unique array function, and it just, as I say, puts the ID of that one in, puts a comma, puts the ID of the second one in. So very, very straightforward. I like the way this works. So once that has been generated and we decide that we want to actually approve this this record, which actually I won't do, but I will show you what happens next. Over in Integromat, again, we're going to have this scenario running, which is the approved business creator. And what that's doing is it's creating a new Webflow item, using that data from the new business in the row, and importantly down here, ways to receive orders, it's using that roll-up field. So we're not using the related record field. We're making sure that we use that roll-up field. So it would be passing through the Webflow item ID for the first one, comma, Webflow item ID for the second one. And the beauty of that is, once we're over in Webflow and we're looking in the businesses column here, and I was to go to Lamaro Bakery, I think this is one that's got multiple, yeah, you'll then see that ways to receive orders, it puts both of those in, it selects both of those in the multi-ref field. So I've seen a lot of people talking about this recently on the MakerPad Slack channel and on No Code Founders and Twitter, and it's interesting that people are doing this in different ways. And I think the advantage of having Airtable as a CRM behind the scenes and a single source of truth for your lists means that you automatically get this kind of extra functionality for free. You get it as a byproduct. So really love the way that works. Tags works in exactly the same way, so you don't have to be limited to just two. You can create almost as many tags as you want against the record, and you'll see that that's a similar situation in our Airtable that we have. If I can find them over here, yeah. So we've got multiple tags here where we can really give that business listing more rich content by doing lots and lots of tags. And again, it'll just create a roll up of as many tags as you've added there. It'll just roll up all of those Webflow IDs into a long array. So that's covered everything I want to cover in this episode to do with the form, and we've covered sort of single reference select fields, how we can dynamically build those using data synchronization. We've covered multi-select fields in Webflow and how we can handle the data being passed through, looping through those to create your checkbox set, and again how we submit that data successfully behind the scenes to Airtable. In the next episode, I'm just going to quickly go over some of the sort of unique aspects of this project which may be interesting to some people, just to do with the way we build things in Webflow. So looking at business profile pages, for example, I want to touch on how we've used tags versus payment options. I just wanted to cover that quickly, and sort of looping through multi-ref fields, just to go over that for people that perhaps haven't done that very much. Even being able to click on a file that may have been uploaded and be able to launch that, and a few other things as well. So just some nuanced stuff around the Webflow project itself. And then the last episode 4, will be covering the integrations and how we've actually gone about doing things like buy me a coffee and social sharing and Typeform as an embedded feedback form, as well as this lovely custom map up here. Quite a lot to cover in that one. So the next one will be quite short, and the final one maybe a little bit longer. But thanks for watching the series. I hope this is useful to you all. Obviously, let me know whether there's anything you'd like to add to it, or comment on Twitter at the Flow Agency. And I look forward to seeing you in episode 3.